All this time you've been trying to become more attractive by adding things. More confidence, more muscles, better clothes, better lines, better text messages, better photos. You think attraction is a game of accumulation. Like if you collect enough traits, women will finally see you as that guy. But that's not how it works. The strange thing about confidence is that women rarely notice it when you're trying to show it. They notice it when you're no longer trying to prove anything at all. You can walk into a room wearing a perfect outfit and still look insecure. You can be rich, funny, and successful and still give off the energy of a man asking for permission to exist. And another guy can walk into the same room in a plain black shirt, say almost nothing, and somehow everyone feels his presence. Why? Because confidence isn't something you display. It's something you stop needing from other people. And once you understand that, everything changes. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to use the confidence trick that completely changes the way women see you. Picture a man sitting across from a woman on a first date. He's saying all the right things. He laughs at the perfect moments. He maintains eye contact. He tells stories about his life. On paper, he's doing everything correctly. But inside his head, a different conversation is happening. Does she like me? Should I say something funnier? I hope she thinks I'm interesting. What if I mess this up? Every sentence he speaks is secretly asking for approval. Now picture another man in the same situation. He's relaxed. He enjoys the conversation. He listens because he's curious, not because he's trying to impress. If she likes him, great. If she doesn't, he'll still sleep perfectly tonight. That tiny difference changes everything. Because women are experts at reading emotional subtext. They don't just hear your words. They feel your intentions. And desperation has a smell. You can hide it behind confidence quotes, expensive clothes, and rehearsed lines, but people can sense when your self-worth depends on the outcome. The brutal truth is that most men aren't trying to connect with women. They're trying to get validation from women. That's why they overthink every text. That's why they panic when she takes hours to reply. That's why one compliment can make their entire week and one rejection can destroy their self-esteem. Their confidence doesn't belong to them. It's rented. And whenever your confidence depends on someone else's opinion, you're giving them power over your emotions. Women don't want that responsibility. Nobody does. Imagine carrying a glass of water all day long. At first it feels light. An hour later your arm starts to ache. Eventually, it becomes unbearable. Neediness works the same way. At first, a woman might enjoy the attention. Then she starts feeling responsible for your mood. She notices that your happiness rises and falls depending on her reactions. Without realizing it, she begins carrying the weight of your self-esteem. And attraction starts dying. Because attraction needs freedom. The confidence trick isn't learning how to act confident. It's removing the emotional weight from every interaction. You stop walking into conversations trying to win. You stop treating every woman like a judge holding your future in her hands. You stop acting as if every rejection is proof that something is wrong with you. And something strange happens. You become lighter, more relaxed, more authentic. Ironically, that's when people start paying attention to you. Think about the men you've admired in your life. The coach who commanded respect. The friend who could talk to anyone. The guy who walked into a room and somehow seemed untouchable. Most of them weren't trying to impress anybody. They were simply comfortable with themselves. That's the real definition of confidence. Self-acceptance without negotiation. You stop saying, "I'll feel good about myself when women want me." You start saying, "I already like who I am, and whoever joins my life is a bonus." That mindset changes your entire energy. Because now you're no longer approaching women from scarcity. You're approaching them from abundance. A man in scarcity thinks, "I need this interaction to go well." A man in abundance thinks, "I wonder if we'll enjoy each other's company." The words might sound similar. The emotional difference is enormous. One man is trying to get something. The other is simply experiencing something. Women feel that difference immediately. This is why some men become more attractive after a breakup. Not because they suddenly became better looking. Not because they learned a magical technique. It's because pain forced them to rebuild their identity. They stopped depending on one person's attention for happiness. They started going to the gym, pursuing goals, building friendships, learning who they are again. And when they finally return to dating, they're different. Their neediness is gone. Their fear is lower. They no longer approach women like starving men looking for emotional food. They approach from fullness. And fullness is attractive. The funny thing is that the confidence trick has nothing to do with women at all. It's about your relationship with yourself. Because every insecure behavior comes from the same root. You don't trust that you'll be okay if things don't go your way. That's why you chase. That's why you over-explain. That's why you beg for closure. That's why you stay in relationships where you're clearly not respected. Deep down, you're afraid that losing someone means losing yourself. But the strongest men know something different. They know that people can leave. Relationships can fail. Plans can collapse. And they'll still be standing. That kind of inner stability changes your entire presence. When you stop fearing loss, you stop acting desperate. When you stop acting desperate, you become calmer. When you become calmer, people feel safe around you. And confidence suddenly appears almost by accident.